Hey J babies, welcome back to my channel. I am Licious, and this is one of the best YouTube fucking shows ever. It is called Unpopular Theory, where I give my opinion on different situations and topics on how I feel about certain things regarding those topics. And today we will discuss detransitioners and people that has detransitioned from trans, either male to female or female to male. But today we are discussing male to female detransitioners, because I'm the type of person that will always talk about what I know and not what I think. Of course, I'm sure that all of you guys know that I am trans and I am a male to female person that is transitioning. And I want to discuss detransitioners. If you're not educated on what a detransitioner is or what a person that has detransitioned is, that is a person that has once started to transition to the next gender, and they either realized that they never was trans, or they finally came to terms that they're not trans, or either in the middle. In my opinion, you only have two types of people who detransition. You have one person that is just lost, never was a woman, never felt like the other sex or gender. They were just lost and misguided. Then you have number two, will be the type of guy or girl, I assume, that isn't trans but want to reap the benefits of being trans, as such as the type of money that we can get from men, the type of attention, and not only that, just in general, the type of men that trans women attract. You have a lot of androgynous and feminine men who just want to obtain these things, and they actually don't understand why straight men, or what comes to terms in a straight man's mind of why they might want someone like me. Now, this video is not to bully anyone. This video is not to harass anyone. And this video is most definitely not made to put anyone down or fuck up anyone's mental health, because I'm a whole advocate for good mental health. As a matter of fact, that's why I'm coming on here, because maybe there are girls that's watching thinking, am I trans? Am I not trans? Again, these are just my thoughts. This is just me being in my mid 30s. This is from a woman that has been transitioning for 10 plus years. This is from a woman that is confident and happy with herself in her transition. Alright, so let's get into the video. Y'all ready? Alrighty, DJ, play the music.
Come on in and sit down. I got all what you need, and you're gonna get it now. I got the Hennessy, that Patron, that good old stuff you like. I'ma be your bartender, I got you. I know we fucking twice, yeah.
Hey J babies, welcome back. First I'd like to apologize about the staticking with my microphone. It will be replaced very, very soon. It's very important for me to speak on this topic. Very important. Not only at this time is so dangerous to be trans, and it's just at this time so unfair to trans people that are living their lives out loud, proud, and comfortable, those who are. There's a lot of laws against trans people, as I'm sure that you know. And I think that this is a very important topic to speak on as a trans woman, because a lot of this comes as backlash to a person that is confident and happy in their transition and in their life. Because some people will take one story or two stories, will take one sentence or one situation, and they will blow it up times 10, and they would apply it to every person in that group of people. And I personally feel like that is not fair. Just because some people have made the mistake to transition and then now they want to detransition, that does not speak for all of us. Okay? Just because one person was confused or misled or thought they were one thing, don't mean that that applies to me or every other girl like me. You know what I mean? So I want to be very clear on the purpose of this video as well, is to show the side that there are two sides of the coin. And I'm not scared to show y'all that, because at the end of the day, this is still educational. Okay? And one thing I'm about is the truth, and one thing I'm about is educating people on things that maybe they don't know about. As I stated in the top of the video, we will be discussing two different types of detransitioners, in my opinion. And we're going to get into the first story. And this first story, in my opinion, is someone that was misled, misguided, didn't know who they were, needed a bit of help navigating their life, and the wrong person got a hold of them. So let's check out their story. Let's go.
I felt beautiful. I felt attractive. I knew that I was wanted because the moment I walked out of the door, like, wow.
Samuel Jordan was his given name. Simone was his chosen name, the one he picked at 19, when he committed to living his life as a woman.
For the first time in my life, I actually felt like I had found the person I was supposed to be.
That was a far cry from what he wanted to be as a child. Growing up in a Christian home in Fort Myers, Florida, he loved God, church, and dreamed of one day becoming a pastor. All that changed when at 8 years old, Samuel was sexually abused by a friend's family member.
He started saying things like, we're just acting, I'm gonna be the man, you're gonna be the woman. The innocence that I carried, this little boy that loved Jesus, I really felt like that was snatched away from me.
As the abuse became a normal occurrence, he started to enjoy and seek out the compliments.
I was good at it. Even though it was so wrong, it was like, well, maybe this is what I'm supposed to do.
Samuel never told his parents. Soon he was exploring homosexuality with friends, and by 14 was actively pursuing gay relationships. But at church, guilt and shame filled his heart.
And I asked God, whatever this feeling is, I need you to take this out. And it seemed like every time I prayed it, nothing really changed.
He kept his secret well, until his mother discovered explicit notes from a male classmate in his backpack.
My relationship with her at that moment took a shift. She told me, if this is how you're gonna live, I can't talk to you. And I love my mom. I loved her, and I know she loved me because she tried for years to have a child. So I was like her blessing, but I became her curse. And so the child that she couldn't wait to look at, she no longer could look at me.
Samuel stopped his promiscuous lifestyle, hoping to make amends with his mom. But that time never came. 2 years later, she died from cancer during his sophomore year in high school. His father also left to move in with another woman.
I felt like that last piece of me had left the earth. There was a hollowness that was in my heart. Samuel was gone.
Now in college, Samuel turned away from God and found his full identity in the gay community.
All right, y'all. So let's stop there because it's basically a part 2 to this story. We're not finished with his story. But I do want to say this before we go any further. Parents, men and or women, watch your children around any and every one. Don't be so giving to let your children spend the night at people's house and go off with coaches and teachers and your homeboys and your homegirls, because women touch kids too, I grew up that I was so sheltered I couldn't do shit. My mom ain't let me spend out nobody's house. Everybody had to come to my house. So I could honestly say that with this story isn't a gay or straight thing or a trans thing or a black and white or a boy or girl thing. people get touched as churn. Like, people will mess with kids. And I think that's very important that is discussed as well, because I think a lot of people want to not see the truth in that. I think a lot of people don't want to really hear that. Does that make sense? Like, uncles touch the nieces and nephews, aunties do, right? Keep your children under your wing. Listen to your children, love and watch out for your kids. Now, I say that to say this, is that there's always this stereotype that if you are gay or trans, you were messed with. I was never touched as a child. I was never sexually harassed or sexual abuse or none of that. I never was. So I'm here to tell you that just because a person has been touched or possibly sexually abused doesn't make that person either straight or gay. It just fucks that person up. Okay, so we have to stop aligning your sexuality, if or your sexuality, because you might have been touched or sexually assaulted. Now, what I will say is that I do think that that can influence you on to be confused of what you actually like. I have talked to so many men that has shared so many deep, dark secrets by me just being trans. Straight men telling me that they were touched as a child. Then that would also lead me to think, in my mind, to say, well, is this really them? Is this really something that they're attracted to or something that they like doing or enjoy? Is this really them, or is it because that they were corrupted as a child or just introduced to something like this? Does that make sense? It makes your mind wonder at that point, is this really you? So then that brings me and leads me to say to you guys, and to make sure that you guys know, the audience know, that being trans is an identity, not a sexuality, okay? Gay, lesbian, bisexual, these are sexualities. Being trans, being a man, being a woman, these are identities. This is who you identify as. This is who you are. Now, your sex is either male or female, or then you have intersex as well, but that's a small percentage. So male and female are two things that you cannot change. If you are born male, you are male. It don't matter if somebody touched you or not, okay? And this is important to understand, because this gentleman might not even be gay. Does that make sense? He might be a straight man that was touched, and he thinks that he's gay. Okay, now when the trans goes into place, that would be in the next part of the video, because that is his identity crisis, okay? He had an identity crisis and probably a sexuality crisis as well. You know, so this is a really, really sad story, and we're going to get into the second part right now, okay? Let's go.
I really hated Samuel. He wasn't accepted. Samuel was disowned. Samuel was alone. So when I finally saw a lifestyle and find a sense of belonging, I went after it.
Empowered by those feelings of acceptance, Samuel changed his name to Simone and began living as a transgender.
Simone was that person that everybody wanted. Simone was that person that got the level of affirmation and love and acceptance that Samuel never got.
Transitioning to his new identity, Simone started working as an escort. He also had breast implant surgery.
If I got implants, I'd be an abomination. That God would definitely say, he's unusable. He's made his decision.
Still in college, Simone became popular and desired. But in time, the guilt and shame started to resurface.
Though I had became this person, I didn't know who I was looking at. I just felt like my inside, who I really was now being destroyed.
He dropped out of school and moved home to Fort Myers, where a family friend allowed him to stay with her. She had one condition, that Simone go to church with her. Although reluctant at first, he finally agreed.
Also felt like maybe if I go to church, maybe I'll hear something that may give me a sense of direction.
All right, J Babies, we are back, and I purposely wanted to separate this video so that I can explain sexuality and also identity. As you saw here, the gentleman, mom passed, and his dad, he wasn't with his dad, so he kind of found love in the gay community. And so he found love in that community because he could not find love elsewhere. I mean, I don't know how to say it, right? And so therefore he found a liking to this lifestyle, which gave him a type of attention, which gave him a voice, for lack of a better term, and he leaned into it. He leaned into it. He got implant surgeries, and at the end he found out that, hey, this is not me. Okay? I think that influence is really, really important. It's very important that you make sure that you know who you are and who's influencing your children and who may be influencing you, right? I'm a big advocate on talking to yourself. Like, at the end of the day, I'm going to sit down myself and say, hey, are you doing this because you want to, or are you doing this for outside influence? Like, what's up? I know I will never forget this one time. My nephew's mom, my nephew had to be about 5. And this was the time, and I've always dressed androgynous, like skinny jeans, like girl tops, like purses, stuff like that, exiting out of high school. And one time she came to me and she said, hey Bump, I want to talk to you. And I was like, yeah. I never forget, we was outside by her car. I think it was her car or my car. And she said, James have been acting really feminine, like wanting to do, like, put on different type of thing, like, kind of expressing himself how he saw me expressing, because he took, my nephew has always been my baby, and I've always been really, really super close to him. And he was wanting to express himself differently. He had questions, and he wanted to act a certain way, and her and I had a conversation, and she told me that, and she told me that she feel like that I have been influencing him to do those things. Now, whomever is listening might feel different about what I'm saying from here on, right? You might feel like, hey, I don't have shit to do with it. That's not my child. I'm gonna be me, and whatever the child do, they do. But I'm here to say that that's my nephew, and I want him to choose who he want to be. I want him to choose if he wants to be that way or dress that way or not. I don't want him to feel that this is in front of me and this is who I am, right? Now at that moment and at that time, I was so offended. I was like, how the fuck she telling me da da da? But then as I grew older, and in that time of me hearing her out then and there, and as the time of me looking at my nephew as a little boy, and as me looking at me still finding my way, and also knowing who I am but also wanting to confirm who I am, right? I did not want him to go down that path, right? And whoever is trans and gay that's listening to this, you know exactly what I'm saying. This life can be so tough, this life can be so hard, this life can be so confusing, right? Because you're told that, hey, you shouldn't be this way, but you feel a different way, right? So I would not wish this on anyone. And if you're not trans or gay, you wouldn't understand what that means. Is that this life, just to be picked on and just ridiculed and just tore from ear to ear, for lack of a better term, for society to rip you another asshole, basically. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. So that's why I look at people, and when they say that you choose to be this way, why would I choose to be? I'm choosing to be happy, yes. I totally agree. But to choose to be torn apart by society, that was something that I didn't even. If my nephew cannot take, if I just rather, if you don't, please just don't be this. Like in a part of me feels that way, right? So when that was brought to my attention, I was still myself, and I'm still myself now. But I also thought more into him in a loving way, and thought more and I was more aware of how I would dress around him and what I would say and what I would do, and you know what I mean? I did not, like, for lack of a better term, tone it down or whatever, but I would just make sure that I was more respectful, for lack of a better term, right? And I know you can probably hear my voice that I mean this is important that I'm speaking on this because it's important to me. It's important because I did not want to be that type of influence on my nephew. I wanted to make sure that he knew and he knows who I am, and I'm happy who I am, and I want him to be happy who he is. And as me being trans, I know how evil kids could be, and I know how evil people could be and pick on you and say this and that. And so many times I wanted to pick him up from school and take him to baseball practice. You know what I mean? But I knew that people would pick on him. And when he turned about 17 or 18, I remember having this conversation with him, and I said, if anybody have any questions about me or anybody want to talk shit about me, tell them to call me. Tell them don't talk shit to you. I'm always so protective, and I never forget, and it made me so loved and I would just smile at ear. He says, well, I'm very protective of you, and I love you. I know who you are, and everybody know how you are. Everybody know how Bump is. Everybody know how you are, how you always been. And that there just made me feel so loved to know that he understands who I am and my love for him. And I don't want him to just feel like I love this person, so I'm going to just follow behind him. No, I want him to have his own mentality, his own train of thought. And, whoa, that was very deep. I can't even believe I shared that with y'all, okay? To be really honest. Ooh, I was choking up in my words. But I say that just to show you guys that it is so easy to influence people. Whether you know it or not, consciously or subconsciously, whether you're a boy, girl, gay, straight, or celebrity. I know one time Cardi B said something, and this always stuck with me. She says, yeah, I hate the parents that look at celebrities to influence their children. You should be your child's influence. She says, if you allowing your child to turn on the internet or turn on the TV to watch me, why are you not influencing your child? I'm not your child's parent. And she said, when I have my kid, this is before she had a kid, she says, when I have my daughter, I want my daughter to be just like me because I want to be just like my mom. I don't want to be like no one else. And that always plays back in my head, even now by me transitioning and being so confident in who I am. I'm still so respectful of children because whether you want to believe it or not or know it or not, children are like sponges, and what they see and hear they soak up. Whether you're taking that as a positive or negative thing, it's just a child's nature. So you always want to be respectful around children. Watch what you say and watch what you do. I'm not saying act like something that you're not. That's not what I'm saying. But just be mindful that children are around when they are around. Children should not hear or see certain things. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that they shouldn't see you because you're trans or you're gay. But I'm saying have a certain respect for children when they're in your space. And with that being said, parents, influence your kids. Teach your kids the way. Understand who your child is. Don't force your child to be something that they're not. And this can be a talk navigating into trans kids. I don't want to talk about that because that's very touchy, right? Some people don't even believe that there's trans kids, some do. So that's not the conversation that I'm going to have. But people are influenced to be straight too. But that's also a different subject in the conversation that I don't want to have, right? But But all of this is a certain influence. What I can just tell you is, far as trans people and trans individuals, in the trans woman, because that's what I am. So I'm gonna speak on what I know, right? If you are wanting to transition for boys, you are not trans. If you are wanting to transition for the money that you can get from men, you are not trans. If you are wanting to transition for the attention of certain men that you can only get because you're trans, you are not trans. You are trans when you wake up every day. That's the only thing that you can think about. That's who you are. That's what you know, right? Just because Donald Trump is in office don't mean that I'm gonna detransition. Oh my God, this person is not allowing me to change my gender marker, or this person is not allowing me to properly get my medication. I'm gonna find a way because this is who I am. Does that make sense? It's like when shit like that start to come in play, you really see who the fuck is really what. No shade. Cause baby, when you turn on that stove and it get hot in that kitchen, oh, you see who can stand the heat or who need to get the motherfucking out the kitchen, baby. And that's who you see who the real chefs are, bitch. Who the real bitches are, you know? Like that's what it's given. Like a little part of me, and this is my opinion. This is my channel, and these are my opinions. So whatever, right? I'm a little happy that Donald Trump has turned up the heat. I am a little happy because it really wings out who is really trans and who's not. Because a lot of this shit is for aesthetic. A lot of the girls just want to do this shit because it looks pretty, or they like what they can get from the boys and this and that. So I kind of like to see, let's wing out these bitches who is real and who's not. No shade. But child, let me move on, child, before I say some shit. But we are moving on to the next person. And this person is just wanting the aesthetic. This person is just wanting the glitz and the glam. And bitch, like I said, the heat in the kitchen was turned up and that motherfucker got burnt. Let's get into it.
But now that we're talking about the trans thing, let's discuss it. So I came out as trans New Year's this year, and it was an amazing experience. About a month later, I decided to detransition. Basically, honestly and truly, like, being trans right now is not a good thing. Like, you can't get your gender changed on your ID. You can't start your hormone process. Like, it's just a lot of things that you really can't do right now because of the government system that we're working with. It was almost like a sign of like, maybe this is not what you're supposed to be doing because like this just isn't the time. And another part of me is like, damn, did you wait too late? Like, did you wait too late to start this process and then now it will never really happen for you? Another thing is, I felt like, and this is me saying this in a very humble way, but I did put a lot of money and time into my first pop out, like my first look. And I also feel like a lot of people expected to see that 24/7. I'm not saying that I was doing it for the aesthetic and doing it for people's the attention, but what I'm saying is, if I come looking a certain way, I feel like everyone was expecting that 24/7, and I could not handle that pressure. Time out to really think about everything. I really truly feel like I'm not trans. I do feel like I was born a boy and I want to be a boy, but I also do feel like I didn't give myself time to practice being androgynous. Like, I didn't practice wearing skirts and wearing heels and wearing wigs as a boy. I just was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna wear a wig, I gotta cut my beard. If I cut my beard, I gotta wear a dress. If I wear a dress, I gotta be a girl. I don't think I'm just one of those people where it's like, I'm gonna give it my all, I'm gonna give nothing, and I just didn't want to give men in the wig. You know what I'm saying? Because I've always shaped the girls who say they're trans but have a full beard. Say they're trans but don't tuck. Like, I just like, you want to be a lady, be a lady.
Bitch, when I tell you I cackled when he said I was trans for a month. Bitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 days, bitch. 30, you was never trans. You was just playing with wigs and makeup. Like, what? Like, and this is what I'm saying. Why would you even title, like, 30 days? You could have kept this video. And again, let me say this because the girls will think I'm trying to pick on people and think I'm trying to shade the girls and trying to battle with the girls type of thing. It's not like that over here. If you know me, you know I'm in my own world. Bitch, I don't see competition. So I'm just throw that out there. But the fact that you made a whole video why I'm no longer trans, bitch, 30 days? You just was never trans. And there is also things that I just don't understand that he said as well. So that's how I know that he was never trans and he's not trans. For instance, when he said, I put so much money into popping out and introducing myself as trans or coming out that I don't know if I can keep up with that. What does that even mean? What the fuck? You get what I'm saying? That's like me. How I look, bitch, is how I look. How I carry myself is how I carry myself. I'm a whole woman. And I like nice shit. If I want a 30-inch wig, bitch, a 30-inch bust down in the middle hole, I'm going to do that. If I want gold hoop earrings, I'm going to go get them and I'm going to wear them every day I want to wear them. You know, like, so I don't even understand where he was coming from with that. And the beard thing, like, what are y'all? And that's these new girls. That's these new age bitches. Like, why would you even want to have a fucking beard with a wig on? And just like I don't understand that aesthetic. And then say you're trans with a whole beard, like you kind of pushing the envelope. That's what I feel. So I don't. A lot of stuff of what he was saying, I don't get it. I don't understand why he just did not experiment, right? That he just was just wearing wigs and says, hey, I'm androgynous or I'm a femboy. The fact that you wanted to jump to the I'm trans just proves that boys like this hate the girls like me. When I tell you deep down hate, they want to exploit the girls like me. They want to prove, quote unquote, we are not real women. They want to prove, quote unquote, I can do just what you can do. I'm just let me throw on this wig for 30 days and I can do. No, you can't, baby. Cause baby, and then he says, "Oh, I can't get my medication and my gender." Who cares? Are you trans or not? Does that make you trans? Like, what's going on? So if you can't get surgery, you're not trans. So if you can't change your name, you're not trans. So you just did all this shit just to turn around and tell people, oh yeah, you know what? 30 days, a month later, 30 days later, oh yeah, you know what? I'm not trans. You know, that was just some like what is like what like boys like him I just don't trust. These are the type of boys that cannot stand the girls. These are the type of boys that when the girls getting ready, they sitting on the bed looking at you. Oh, I want to do like boys like this. I could never trust a boy like this. This is exploitation. Like you just want to push this negative narrative that society already have on us as being trans. You just trying to step into our space to really get to know like what are these bitches. And when you finally did it, the kitchen got hot and your ass had to get out the kitchen. Had to get out. Oh, I don't know if it was too late. It's never too late to be you. Baby, if you're gonna be you, now is the time, right? Any time is the time. I wouldn't say wait till you're 60 like Bruce Jenner. And if you do, that's you, right? But it's never too late to really be authentically you. And if you do want to experiment with wigs and makeup, that doesn't make you trans. And this is proof. He actually thought by him putting on a wig and makeup that that will magically turn him into a woman. And it didn't. You know, it just didn't. It don't. It don't work like that. Okay? And so this was really a learning curve for him, and this is still his experience. And I still respect his experience. But what I don't respect is you dragging us as real trans women into this weird ass whirlwind of yours, this weird ass experiment and posting a whole video, right? So now, if one people or two or 100 people or 300 people look at this, they're gonna feel like, oh, all of them motherfuckers like that. All of them are just boys with wigs that don't know who they are. And so for you to upload a video, take your index finger and press on that red button and record yourself saying this proves that you are to not be trusted. Like, people like this are just so weird. But I do ultimately want to say this and repeat this. if you want to try and you want to experiment with wigs and makeup, do it. Find out who you are. When you're wanting to go as far as saying that I'm wanting to transition into a whole nother gender, me personally, this is my advice to the girls that's thinking about transitioning or that knows that they're a woman and they're trans. Go seek mental help. By us being black in the black community, we don't believe in that. We feel like if we go see a psychologist, we're crazy or we're out of our mind type of thing. Go get help. Understand why you feel that way. Understand who you are. Go on your journey. You have to do shadow work, baby. You have to do shadow work to really find out who you are. If you're straight or trans or cis or trans or gay, whoever, you really have to do your shadow work. You cannot be lazy as just think that you're going to wake up one day and this is just who you are. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like my advice to everyone, male to female, female to male transitioning, go get help before you think about transitioning. Please go get help. Go see a psychologist. Also, try on wigs, try on makeup, do your big one. But when you're thinking about taking it serious and altering your genetic makeup with medication and altering your mental state, that's serious. That is not a game. Do you know how many trans women are out here being unalive just by being authentically them, and you find this as a game? Do you know if he would have said this in front of a nigga that really like women, that nigga would have bust the shit out of him? You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is not a game. So it's like, if you are going through something, please reach out for help. Because mental health is very important. Mental health is a real thing. We have our physical health and then we have our mental health. Please understand, both needs to be taken care of. Our body is just like a vehicle. You still have to get your oil changed. You have to change your brake pads. You have to change your tires. You have to go to the car wash, okay? Think of your body as a vehicle, if you will, because that's what it is. Your soul is inside of a vehicle. Your body sits inside of a car, okay? Get yourself checked out if you have these deep thoughts. Love yourself because I love you. Again, this video is not to bully anyone. This is an educational video. Hopefully I educated a lot of my audience watching. I know hopefully I reached some people and maybe I didn't, okay? But if you will, leave a comment. If you like the video. Don't forget to subscribe and also turn on your notification bell so that you know when Jayla posts a video. And for next time, I love y'all so, so much. And I always appreciate my J babies for stopping by. Mwah. Like I always say, drink your water, mind your business, put on your cocoa butter, take care of your teeth, okay? Take care of your health. Get you a juicer, okay? And take care of yourself. I love you so much. Again, write in the comments what you thought on this video. Do you agree what I'm saying or do you disagree? But until next time, thank you so much for tuning in to Unpopular Theory. This is your host, Lalalicious, signing out. Bye.
Hour takes you to a world